Well, guys, here we are, the
Hello.
first podcast, and we're just making this like a Ramadan series.
Mhm.
So what's up, guys? My name is Sara Mudallal. You may have known me from like my parkour channel. You guys may know me because you're my friend. 'Cause, I mean, this podcast is like really small right now at the moment, but parkour athlete. Also, started gaming recently. I mean, really, like my background is just like people know me as being an athlete. I've collaborated with Red Bull, CNN, BBC, Nos Daily, AJ Plus. Like, there's a whole bunch of collaborations that I've done. But here now, we're starting a podcast, and I'm my co-host, my very good friend, Rosie.
Hello.
Who are you?
So who am I? I'm Rosie.
Hi, Rosie.
And Sora's one of my best friends and sisters. I just love her very much. And it's thank you for letting me be in your light, literally.
We came up with this together. We came up with this less than a month ago.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It's something that started on as a conversation on our kitchen counter. And then we're having these amazing conversations. And why not share it with people?
Honestly, like, I love our conversations because we can go on for hours, and it's
Yeah.
just like, "Alright, dude, this needs to be, like" even on the way here we're, like, talking about stuff, and it's just like, we're gonna go off on a tangent again, but we gotta introduce, like, what's happening, like, the next 5 weeks. So,
Yes.
we initially wanted to do, like a Ramadan podcast kinda thing, but at the same time, it's like, we talk about Ramadan, but at the same we talk about, like, life and, like, experiences and things like that, but currently, right now, it's Ramadan.
Yeah. Happy Ramadan.
Happy Ramadan, everyone. And let's just like talk about what Ramadan is first. And so recently I saw this Instagram post talks about it has like a glacier. There's like a surface glacier
Mhm.
and there's like a oh yeah, there it is. You can see it. There's like a surface glacier and then there's like what's in the deep end. And then like how everyone talks about, right? Like not the basic thing, like not drinking, feasting at night, not eating in huge flood events, right? That's
Mhm.
that's what everyone sees in the stories.
Yeah.
But what's really cool about this post, what I really liked about it is that there's actually like a break of a routine of your daily life, which I really uh enjoyed like understanding like or for people to understand as well, which is like creating healthy habits, like everything that's listed here, gaining closeness to Allah, putting trust in Allah, focusing on spirituality, developing as a person, learning self-discipline, breaking unhealthy cycles, building taqwa and God conscious, like which is really what the main thing is about these 30 days.
Definitely.
Now, like you did you always look forward to Ramadan growing up?
I love Ramadan. It's an amazing time for peacefulness.
Mhm.
A lot of people focus on that, like we said, like the surface level, right?
Right.
I'm not eating, I'm not drinking. Maybe I'm more consistent in my prayer and my faith activities,
Mhm.
but there's a lot more to it,
Yeah.
right? There's always a sense of community. I know every day we
Oh my
gather
god.
with so many people around us, friends, family, loved
We
ones.
ate together
We
yesterday.
did that
Yeah.
yesterday. And we're always trying to include as many people as you can, right?
Mhm.
Have maybe group prayers together, wonderful conversations.
Mhm.
But really, also, I think what I've experienced is a time for self reflection
Mhm.
and then also really connecting more in depth to the divine, spending more time indulging in your prayers, right?
Yeah.
And it's a magical time to manifest all your hopes and
It
dreams.
really is. I mean, the thing is growing up, I did not look forward to it,
Okay.
like, at all. And the thing is the really main thing that, like, messed me up is just like, man, like, because I work out all the time, and it's like, how am I gonna
Mhm.
incorporate my workouts during Ramadan?
Mhm.
Because one thing, if, like I feel like I just gain weight as well, which kinda upsets me because I work hard to, like, be fit, and then, like,
Mhm.
I don't eat all day, and it's just like, I also don't work out because 'cause I'm lazy. So, I just don't work out and I just gain weight, And I think, like, after these past couple of years, and I finally figured out when to work out, which is, by the way, you work out right before iftar.
Mm.
Perfect timing because you're at a calorie deficit. Write this down, guys. Write this down. Um, and I just started being okay with it, like not going hard because it's okay. Like
Yeah.
this is the situation that you're in. And now like last year and this year, like I'm actually enjoying Ramadan and actually looked forward to it. And it's just like it's just another day, but it is what it is. You are breaking the routine. And this is like again going back to the glacier. It's just like it reminds me and we should remind everyone that like breaking the routine keeps you conscious and which is also like a learning experience.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We grow so much when we break our routine.
Mhm.
I really believe that when we get into a cycle of doing the same thing every single day, right? We kind of go on autopilot. We're leveraging our muscle memory.
Mhm.
We're not really using more mindfulness, right? Or more consciousness, like you
Mhm.
said. When you break the routine, all of a sudden you're hyper aware of so many things.
Yeah.
Even when you break your fast and you taste like a date,
Mhm.
you taste so much sweetness, right? And all of a sudden the flavors are exploding in your in your mouth because
Mhm.
you haven't tasted it, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, right? It's like a new experience. So I think breaking the routine is a really good thing for the mind.
It is.
Yeah.
But let's also talk about what people go through during
Yes.
Ramadan because that is like something I've observed within people. Now, there's
Hmm.
a couple things. Either like one for example gets really grumpy because like they have the routine of drinking their morning coffee
Hmm.
or they have the routine of like having just like this, a breakfast, their usual breakfast, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what did you tell me the other day? Like you saw someone like you see people grumpy.
I see a lot of grumpy cats and and I love Grumpy Cat. It's like this book. I don't know if you've seen it
Yeah.
about this cat that keeps getting photographed saying funny things, but it's really grumpy all the time,
Right.
right? So I call them Grumpy Cats. Um, but so basically, people do get frustrated. They get stressed out. Sometimes they snap at others, right?
Mhm.
But I'm always reminded of like, listen, when you're fasting, this is your time to shine.
Mm.
This is your time to be a bright light.
Mhm.
This is your time to smile, to be a positive, like uplifter, and how what energy you have around others,
Mhm.
right? And really shining your best self. Because as you put aside water and food for a little while,
Mhm.
what are you really focusing on? And we want to focus on our
Self-growth.
yes,
Yeah.
self-growth, our
Yeah.
spiritual development,
Yeah.
the state of our heart. And theoretically, we should be doing this better year after year, right? Because
If
we've had a lot of practice.
theoretically, I mean, like, how many Ramadans has it been?
I've had 37. This is my 37th. Well, I haven't fasted all these years, but
No, I mean, like, I was like maybe 27th.
let's just say 27.
Yeah, mine would be like the 18th.
Yeah.
Just you can do the math of how
Hmm.
old we are. That's okay. Um, but yeah, the grumpy cats, and then also I don't know, just like I think the thing is about like when you eat right,
Hmm.
and when I had it like my first iftar, for the first day of Ramadan. People tend to forget that your stomach is like it just gets smaller.
Yeah.
And and then I see people like when iftar happens and people break their fast, people are just like filling up their plates. And like it ends up going to waste,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
like we went to a buffet like the first day. People are just like racking up because like it's a buffet, it's an all you can eat. Yeah. But like you have to remember that the food that you're gonna consume, you're not gonna finish it. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me. Like, it also teaches like portions, right? Because realistically, a human being should not be like eating that much anyways. You
Absolutely.
know? So so talk to me about your like daily routines. Like what would like has there anything that changed? Like I mean, I know it's like what,
Yeah.
this is like the second day? Third day.
This is the third
Yeah, it's the
day.
third day of Ramadan.
I've actually, like I said, I'm learning to get better year after year, right? Because that's the point, I think. It's
Mm-hmm.
getting growing your practice.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of things to prepare. For example, I started decaffeinating myself
Before
a
Ramadan.
few weeks before. And
Whoa.
the first couple of days, I had migraines and headaches pounding for days. And I knew if I stuck through it, right, I'm going to be okay. So the reason why I say prepare
Yeah.
is because when you are in that moment where, okay, now it's Ramadan, I really want to have an enjoyable experience. I want to be my best, right? I want
Mhm.
to feel good. So I didn't want to be a grumpy cat myself and wake up and have a headache and snap at others around me because I didn't have my morning
But you were
coffee.
a grumpy cat the first couple of weeks, weren't you? The
I
past couple of
was,
weeks, yeah?
but by myself before Ramadan. So
Yeah.
yeah, stuff like that. Maybe mentally, like journaling,
Mhm.
spending time meditating and
Mhm.
getting ready for like, okay, I need to invest more time contemplating a little bit each day on my own,
Mhm.
doing some self-care practices, whatever it is that you feel like feels good in your body, maybe working out, maybe yoga, maybe sleeping
Ooh.
a little bit more,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, there's a lot of things we could do to set our body for success
Okay.
so that during the month we're not struggling, we're actually having a joyful,
Mhm.
peaceful time.
So how was your first day?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Really? Oh my
I
gosh. Wow. I mean, someone to say amazing on the first day of Ramadan,
I
that's
felt
crazy.
so good.
Really?
I felt really, really good. I felt so light
Oh, wow.
and I started having more mental clarity, but in my heart I felt more of like a
يا
peacefulness.
حياتي.
Yes, it's really nice. And to be honest, I'm not someone who's always fasted or prayed. I haven't been consistent.
Yeah.
But the last couple of years, like this is my second year fasting consistently,
Uh-huh.
and I'm really proud of it. But I see the benefits of it.
Mhm.
There is a divine wisdom in fasting, and it's a gift. It's a gift that's given to us. Like people think we fast to serve the divine, but
Mhm.
really, the divine has given us this gift to bring out the best in ourselves
Yeah.
and uncover like a little bit closer, like what is my purpose for this life? How can I
Mhm.
have a meaningful impact on
صح.
others? Right?
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I love that for you.
How are you feeling after the third? It's the third day.
It is the third day. The first day, I was good. Like
Mhm.
I mean, I can't get on your level, but no, I was good. And I think the thing is, it's just like because physically, like you're low on electrolytes, so one gets a little more sleepy, you know. And then I was just that's like after I came back from work, like I was feeling sleepy. But then like there's three things that I wanted to do when I got back home. I wanted to like stream,
Mhm.
I wanted to sleep, and I wanted to work out. I was like those three things, and I'm like, which one do I want to do more? Which one is better for me?
Yeah.
Working out. And so I like had to force myself up to get up and like to go and work out. It's so funny. Even though no water, no food, I went in the sauna.
Oh. Oh wow. And the
Yeah,
sauna?
and I went in the sauna. It wasn't
Oh.
that bad. I mean, the days have been pretty cold here,
Yeah.
so it wasn't that bad. But also, but I have to remember is that like you can work out, but don't go as hard as you do as always. So it's just like got in. I know I'm at a calorie deficit, fat burning stuff, you know? And then I just like I felt good after, you know? And then I was like, all right, I can feel like you just there's just like I don't know what it is, but you just feel good after your workout. Like you like you wake
Yes.
up, you know? Because
Yeah.
I was feeling tired and groggy, but then like something just like after the workout, just like it came out. I was like, all right, I'm feeling good. So now it's the third day and I'm feeling okay. Yeah, I'm feeling I mean, like people get used to it by like the first week.
It does get easier day after day.
And here we are, like, we're doing a podcast,
Yeah.
we're fasting, we're talking. There's no water.
No,
No, we're
and
not
we're so happy.
no, we're not doing it. We're not doing it at all. But I think, like, the what I loved doing and what I've kept doing also is that, like, I love Ramadan, but even before Ramadan, even with anything, right, self-practice is, like, a beautiful thing to do. And, like, what I love doing on the daily is, like, waking up, stretching, meditating, and then journaling. Manifestations happen so much in between. I mean, I
Mhm.
told you what I did yesterday.
Yes.
Yes. So yesterday I wrapped up a big project that while I was meditating, it came into fruition. And I was just like, I like wrote it down. It was just like, doing a collaboration with someone. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do. You better do it because, and you got to subscribe to the other channels that I have linked in the bottom. Oh, that's so cool.
All the channels.
All the channels. I manifested that.
Yeah.
And like me, I'm an introvert, right? And it's just like me reaching out to people and like collaborating. It's just like I don't really like um pushed myself to like go and talk to people that may have like a a great relationship down the line.
Mhm.
And I don't know, like something just possessed me to do that. And just like I became friends with a person that I never thought like never thought I'd be friends with, to be honest.
Hmm.
And like now yesterday was just like such an amazing experience. If like just a little hint, it was like a um karate collaboration with an Olympian. So yeah. Isn't that
Amazing. That's
crazy?
so wonderful. And
Right?
I remember you mentioning a couple weeks ago, like,
Yeah.
oh, I just met this person. I wish that I can do something like that.
Hmm.
Right. And it went from this verbal expression and intention
Hmm.
to like an actual real life manifestation.
What's crazy is that like write stuff down.
Definitely.
Like I had it on my whiteboard. And what's crazy? I finished meditating this morning, and I
Hmm.
looked. The what I wrote was still there, like the collaboration.
Yeah.
I looked at it and I was like,
Wow.
I finished that. I did that.
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
There's power. There's tremendous power to intention
Mm,
setting.
mm,
There's a lot of power in the spoken word. So
mhm.
even if you write it down to manifest like a goal or a wish that you have,
Yeah.
talk about that dream that's in your heart with others who are like people who love you, who are trying to motivate you and uplift you and like send you that good energy and vibe to like, yeah, you can do it. You got this. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And now you're on that like level of vibration where like you got more
The
energetic,
coherence.
yes, lifting
Yes.
you.
Oh
And
my god.
Mhm.
Love that. But
Yeah.
what's really crazy is that I've never would have started any of this. And we talk about this all the time. This is where we first connected.
Yes.
This is where we first connected, talking about being present.
Hmm.
But and I've recommend and I've told you about the book that I've read, but like somehow like the way you experienced it is different how I experienced it. But when bringing up the book, The Power of Now, you know, and and then talking about what the present moment is all about and everything, and then like removing your ego with the same author, and then
Yeah.
comes the book of Becoming Supernatural. It's just like that's where I started meditating and journaling, and it's just like all these manifestations. But if it's like the real physical, like the brain and like the pineal gland,
Hmm.
that's like something that's just like I've never thought of something that you could actually make things happen to fruition, just writing things down, manifestation. Of course, like manifestations be like the same thing as like dua, if you want to put it that way,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But just like and then just working towards it, writing it down, but at the same time, like yeah, just you put it into existence, but like you gotta work hard for it though.
Definitely. There has
Yeah.
to be effort and steps taken to
Yeah.
back up the intention that you have,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But we've seen like we grew up learning a lot of like the like divine scriptures, right?
Hmm.
And we know a lot of times when people communicated with the divine
Hmm.
about like wanting specific things or not wanting the specific things, the divine moved and like put that into fruition, right? And
Hmm.
supported into creating that.
Can you define the divine?
Okay, no words can define the divine.
Ooh.
Not enough words in this whole life. But I think the divine transcends everything and everyone in the universe, right?
Hmm.
Um to us we say Allah,
Hmm.
but we know that it is also like the concept of God that
Hmm.
is just maybe a little bit different for different people.
Hmm.
But it's the most powerful existence that inspired creation, right?
Dude, like the
And
energy in this room right now. Yeah, it's crazy.
we love the divine. Like we spend our life striving to connect back to the divine.
Hmm.
We spend so much time um working on ourselves to elevate and
Hmm.
ascend to that level of connecting
Yeah.
and having those moments where we feel like you said earlier, you heard something or you felt something in your heart guiding you or
Hmm.
telling you to move this way or do this,
Yeah.
right? These are inspirations from the divine or from the angels, who knows, but they're communications from like a metaphysical um, place that even though we don't see, we
Hmm.
believe in and we live our life as if we do truly see it,
Yeah.
right? And that's how we show some of our faith.
In Arabic, it would be called maktub,
Hmm.
right? Isn't there like a dua like khair, like if something's meant for you, then it'll happen. something wasn't meant
Yes.
for you, then it's not meant to be. And kind of
Yes.
thing. Like no matter how hard you work towards it, and let's say like it's not going, but sometimes in a way where like there's like two signs, right? Like if something doesn't go your way, you keep going until it happens your way. But at the same time, it's like, if it's meant to be, then there'll be like an easier path. But there's like two ways to look at it.
There is.
You know what I mean? And I've seen that with people. People struggle real hard, but um but it's that struggle that like they feel it in their heart that it's like right. But even though there's always a struggle to everything. I don't know. Life is like here we are, you know? Like I don't
Here we
know.
are. And this is why, you know what? We're naturally going to get stuck and sometimes feel maybe I'm in a stagnant moment,
Mhm.
right? But we release our control.
Mhm.
We put faith and put everything in the hands of the divine.
Yeah.
We say things like inshallah because we trust
Mhm.
if God knows it's good for us,
Mhm.
he'll allow it to happen,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, it's a good time to like reflect on maybe not everything is within our control, but sometimes we think something is good for us even though it's not.
Mhm.
And sometimes, like you said, we want it so bad, but it's not meant for us.
No.
So it is okay to sometimes just trust the divine and say, you know what? Whatever you think is good for me, thank you for allowing it to happen. Because we don't know what we're being protected from or shielded from. We don't see a lot of things, right? They're invisible around us,
Mhm.
forces, energies, entities.
Insane. I don't know. I'm just like brainstorming because like this topic is like we can go off on a tangent for so
Yes.
long. Tell me about that book that you're reading right now. The
Ugh.
Secrets of the Divine, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh
So
my
our
god.
friend, the beautiful thing about us, I feel like, is our sister's friends are our friends too.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful thing. But my little sister's friend Warda,
Yeah.
she's an angel. Like she's just amazing. She recommended this book that she's read.
We want her to be on this podcast too.
We do. So come
So
down.
no, literally, like, because it's just this topic of just like, I mean, like, this topic can go off like forever, and like, yes, it kind of means the same thing,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it takes different roads to understand like this the certain concept of what your purpose is in this world. But at the same time, it's like, you know, the process of like figuring it out, and it's just like when you quote unquote like get enlightened in a way, but, like, that's, like or wake up or, like, whatever words that you think of. But, like, here, no, finish the book. Like, what
Yeah.
is yeah.
But I like what you're saying because it's important to remember that even though we have a piece of the puzzle,
Mm.
it is important to realize we are a part of the collective consciousness and we need each other to
Yeah.
see the whole like truth,
Mhm.
right? And the whole knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And so talking to each other and listening and reading books becomes such an amazing
Self-help,
investment.
yeah, self-help books, it's like, uh, it's life-changing
Hmm.
because, like, first of all, you are putting the effort to become a better person,
Yes.
and then to also work on yourself, to also make an impact in this universe,
Yeah, absolutely.
and it's like, what is it that is like that you're connecting with, or what is it that clicked within your mind that just like, oh man, like so this is it, you know? But no, we keep going off. Like, what's the book about?
Yeah. So the book is called Secrets of Divine Love,
Yeah.
and I'm listening to it right now on Audible.
Okay.
Sorry. It's by A. Helwa. I think that's the author's name. And it is just a beautiful,
Like Hilwa?
like Helwa, like beautiful.
Oh my
Like her
god.
name is beautiful.
Wow.
And honestly, the book is beautiful. Like the way she writes is just gorgeous. And she is someone who's like traveled the world, spent time in monasteries with nuns and monks and pastures and like different kind of like spiritual houses of God,
Mm.
and learned a lot from all of these people. And she weaves the information in such a beautiful way. Yes, it's a text addressed more about the Islamic faith, but she also talks a lot about other faiths and kind of puts in perspective.
Mhm.
Um, so it does talk, it makes, for me, my experience reading this book is falling. Yes,
There it
this
is.
is it. And I thank Warda for this. Um, my experience reading this, my opinion of it is that it really makes you fall in love with the divine and makes you fall in love with faith, not just specifically to like being a Muslim or being a Christian, but really in general, loving God and finding beauty and connecting with God, right?
That's insane.
But it does also teach a lot about specific things about Islam, the wisdom behind them, the beauty behind them, the
Hmm.
beauty of God.
That's why you said divine a lot. You're like, I was like, dude,
Ah,
like you're saying divine. I'm like, dude, tell me about divine. Like, what is divine? Boom. It's like,
God is so beautiful. And like we said, we cannot define God in enough words, but we know
no,
that there are 99 names for Allah,
for Allah.
right? And every word is just beautiful, full of wisdom.
Hmm.
And they're healing. They're words, medicinal words
Hmm.
that I'm reading another book called Physicians of the Heart, and it's specifically about how these words, the vibration of them, the sound of them, the way the letters are connected together when you say certain names of God,
Mm.
literally are healing, powerful words.
Yeah, it's like a rhythm. It's like a poem. Yeah.
So these are two beautiful books I'm focusing on this month. I
I,
recommend them highly.
yeah. For me, it's like I love the self help books, but it's like, dude, finding for me personally, I'm having a tougher time finding time to read it to finish.
Mhm,
I mean, right now I'm reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
mhm.
And I think we talked about this before, but like this wasn't recorded. And I
Yeah.
want to talk about it again, where it was like, when is the first time you realized the present moment? I can talk
Mhm.
about my experience first. Is
Yes,
that like
please.
where, well, I was reading the Power of Now. And this was like COVID. Um, I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't depressed. I wasn't. There wasn't anything that I was feeling. It was just like my friend recommended it to me. We were at Barnes and Nobles, and she's like, "You should read this book. I think it's really cool." And I'm like, "Power of Now, like do it now." Like for me, I thought I was like, "Oh, do things now. Don't wait." That's what I thought. And that wasn't the case. The book talks about, and as we mentioned before, like the present moment, and he talked about like understanding the stillness, the detail in like this, like you know this little wooden tree, or this table, like just the details and everything, and everything around you. So like as I was reading it, like it's a tough concept to grasp for the first time. And it was the kind of book where I had to like read the pages over and over again to try to understand what this man meant. And I was actually really invested in it. And so one day, and I was like walking my dog, and like in the book it says, like, you could learn a lot from animals because they're always present. I was like, what does that mean? Like this guy's saying present. Like, what does that mean? And so as I was walking him, he was like looking everywhere, seeing a little fly just like fly by, or like he's like smells a flower, or he hears birds and chirps and fly by or whatever. And then there's at one point where he actually also like looked at a flower, you know, and I was like, "What are you looking at?" And I looked at it, and it was like the most orange flower, yellow flower. Like it was just so detailed with the veins in the leaves and the color. Like for me, it was just like it's like being high without being high. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's just like you're at a certain point. I was like, oh, whoa, I understand. And then I went back and to read the book that night with like full awareness. I was like, this is crazy. This is this is crazy stuff. Like, why isn't everyone reading about this? Why isn't everyone like, focusing on themselves? Yes, it's $0 on audio. Wow, like guys, you should
Eckhart Tolle.
no, yeah, yeah, guys, you should get this book.
He's brilliant, absolutely
He's
brilliant.
brilliant. He's so cute though, because like Oprah had him as like his Oprah had like the books that she Oprah's recommended books. That's what she called it, you
Mhm.
know? And one of his books called A New Earth. So it's like the sequel to like The Power of Now.
Okay.
And she had him on her podcast, and he like is like a jiddo, you know? He talks like with an old raspy, like old voice, like an old British man, but with wisdom, you
Yeah.
know? Like it's like a cute little man. But yani, I mean, like everything that he said is true. And of course he had people like ask him questions always and all that. And it's just like everything that he says, like, yeah, don't worry, man. like you're chilling, like not in that like not the way like I'm saying it,
Yeah.
but he's like, let it flow. It is what it is. Do your thing, and everyone is like, but I have taxes to pay. Do your thing, man. If just pay for it. He's like, what do you mean? But what if I don't have enough funds? He goes, everything will be in its place.
Yeah.
But it's also hard to understand and grasp that.
Mhm.
And I'm
It
just
is.
like, but overall, it's just like that's like something I've come to understand because main thing, right, that you mentioned, traffic. You can't escape it.
Yeah.
You're here, right? What are you gonna do to elevate yourself?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I yes, I love that. I love talking with you about being present
Oh God, that's like we first
and
connected.
being mindful.
Yeah.
Well, connecting a little bit to fasting. Fasting is the ultimate, like, it grounds you in the present moment,
I mean,
right? When you're eating, when you're drinking, when you're indulging in so many things in life, right?
yeah.
Shopping, hanging out, having fun, consuming content, watching TV, watching movies. We're doing all of that. That's all being digested, right? All of it.
Yeah, subconsciously.
Yeah, and when you're digesting, you're not resting, you're not reflecting, you're not restoring, you're not cultivating mindfulness,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's just again such a gift because when we move that to the side, we're now super present. We're focusing on the person. For example, now I'm hyper focused on you, right? Your energy,
Yeah.
looking into your eyes,
Stop it.
smiling,
Stop
you're
it right now.
gorgeous. Um, but it really makes you enjoy the moment
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Um,
And not to say like this isn't really a religious podcast, but it all comes back to it
yeah.
because like the main foundation of like all religions is like mindfulness,
Mhm.
present, being a good person.
Yeah.
But I feel like, the month of fasting, Ramadan, like you said, it reminds you to be aware because you are breaking that routine.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
create good habits.
Mhm.
Like, okay, if I know I've been inconsistent in certain things before,
Mhm.
you know what? I can 30 they say 21 days build a habit. I have 30 days to build a habit.
Could
So
you
it's
believe that?
it's going to be like, grounded.
God is
Like
great, man.
so generous. Okay, look, you get what? 9 more days.
Right?
But I think we were talking about like when is that moment you
Yeah.
had
I
that
was
awareness.
I was gonna
So
ask
for
you
me,
that.
it was not a moment, to be honest. It was more of like a series of situations. Yes.
Okay.
And interestingly enough,
Yes.
it was a series of situations that revolved around, for me,
Mhm.
like pain,
Mhm.
interestingly enough.
Mhm.
So the first experience I had was physical injury
Mhm.
to my back.
Yeah.
And that put me in so much pain, excruciating pain.
Mhm.
But even pain is a gift from the divine.
Oof.
And we don't realize that,
That's
right?
deep. Yeah, okay.
One of my uncles is a well-known author and publisher, and maybe one time we can like meet with him. He's
That'd be cool.
brilliant. Um, he's consultant for like the UN. He has a lot of programs for all self-improvement, right?
Yo.
And elevating the soul. Um, he's amazing. He's amazing, and he's a doctor of engineering. He's just
Mashallah.
mashallah. He's
Yeah.
wonderful, yeah. And why did I bring this up right
Because
now?
you're bringing up how you became present.
Yes. Okay.
I got you, don't
One
worry.
of the Thank
Yeah,
you.
I got you.
So one of the things he taught me, he said, you know what? At a young age, I was diagnosed with diabetes, and initially I was shattered, and I was worried, like I have to manage this condition, right? And so many restrictions and so many health concerns and do's and don'ts, right?
Mhm.
It's a lot. He's like, but what I didn't know at that point is that this has actually forged my way to become someone who helped thousands of people because I invested so much time in researching and learning and figuring out and exposing myself to new information,
Mhm.
talking to so many people.
Mhm.
And I was empowered with so much knowledge that
Mhm.
now I use that for others.
Mhm.
And his words were, "I thank God that that I had this condition."
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. And I said, "But Ammo, like uncle,
Yeah.
why would you thank God for something that is to us perceived negatively?"
Mm.
So then that's when I started connecting, like, you know what? There's wisdom in our pain.
Mm.
There's wisdom in what we perceive as suffering,
Mhm.
right? Or like a bad
Right.
situation. maybe like an injury, a separation.
If your life is la di da, you're not really learning as
Yeah,
much. Yeah.
every um experience has value in our growth. So for me, I feel like it was like more like a series of events that little by little like took off a shell, took off a shell, took off a shell, right? And every time I reached a certain point, I kept asking God, like, I want to have a platform to make a difference. I want to make a change, a positive change on thousands of people.
Mhm.
I don't know how. I have no idea how it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
but I want to do
She's
something good.
manifesting. She's
And we're
manifesting right
manifesting.
now. She's doing it.
So, yeah.
So what happened?
So what happened to like cultivating
No, so that's how you became present, like when you
little
like
by
through the
little
pain.
through the pain
That's
and through
crazy.
going through the healing experience and meeting people and talking to people and learning a lot about my condition. And now
Right.
when I met others battling same issues, I became so strong and then I became able to support others through that.
Mhm.
So I am now reflecting and saying, thank you, God,
Yeah.
for everything that I perceived negatively,
Mhm.
such as a bodily injury, such as a personal issue or problem,
Yeah.
in relationships or finances or whatever it is. Every single time it actually propelled me higher.
Mhm.
Um, and I love that. Like
Yeah.
that's what we strive to in life, that clarity of mind, that purity of heart.
Hayati. That's so cute. I love that. I think like speaking of like injuries, like patience, right? I think the worst injury I've ever had was dislocating my elbow.
Ugh.
Yeah, from rock climbing. Now, not to say like thank God, like I haven't really had a bad injury doing parkour, but climbing out of all places in an indoor gym on a padded mat. But like the worst thing, right? You fall on your hand, popped out,
Yeah.
and I was at my like all time best performance in 2019. Like this is the best I've ever performed in parkour. I felt my best. And then there's this thing for some reason by the end of towards the end of the year, everybody starts getting hurt. I don't know what it is, but it's a thing because I've observed it with like my parkour friends and like and whoever doesn't do parkour, but it's kind of weird. So mine was like on October where I got hurt. And then like a month later my friend like split her head open,
Wow.
and then last year like I had another friend like who lives in Turkey, like she dislocated her elbow as well, and she had to go through surgery. And then someone else got like torn ACL, and I was just like, it's always the end of the year. But I'm going back to like the patience part. It's just like when I was at my all time high, like I was when I dislocated it, like the first thing I thought, I didn't think about like my progression to like I mean the thing is a progression to get better quick, but I think it was like um I'm not gonna do parkour. Like that's it. Like
Mm.
I have to stop and I have to focus on like healing. So there is no training. I'm gonna regress. And it's just like these thoughts, like just like well, like this is it. And then of course like I had to accept that really quick because this is what I'm facing. It is what it is. And the one thing that I wanted to do when I dislocated my elbow is to actually go back to the rock climbing gym after I'm still in my cast. I'm still in my sling. And I'm like, I went back to the rock climbing gym because one thing, like, when someone gets hurt, they stay away from whatever they got hurt from, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's something that they just block in their mind. They don't want to face it anymore.
Yes.
And that's it. Instead of facing the thing that hurts you,
Mhm.
whether it's a person or whether it's like an object or whatever it is. I like forced myself to drive back to the climbing gym, even still with a sling, just to sit and hang out with friends, to be in this area where I shouldn't be scared because people get hurt all the time. And I looked at the wall where I fell from, and I'm like, "F you, man." Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's courageous.
No, it's pretty like crazy. I mean, like here's the thing.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest here. I don't climb that wall anymore, that specific section, because there have been multiple injuries on that wall. So it's not just me.
Okay.
So you stay away from it. It's fine. I climb every other part of the wall, which is okay. I look at it and I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. I don't do it. But like I'm still climbing, and I
Yeah.
still wanted to like regain my strength. And it took me a month to get full extension back.
Okay.
And then 2 months after to get my strength back. There's just one time where like it was like up to here and I wanted to close the car door.
Oh,
Oh god, it was so painful. But I think like in the patients where I told you I regressed, maybe looking back at it now, like I'm like going back in my mind. I don't think I was necessarily depressed, but I think in a way where like I know I lost strength and regressed in skill, or maybe that book came in time during 2020 to like help me understand. It's like, you're right, just go with the flow. It's like it is what it is. And
mhm.
like there are other journeys to take. And it's just like, alhamdulillah, that was the biggest injury. But you thank God for giving you that injury to like maybe a different path has been opened. Damn, look at that. That was wow. I just
Everything.
literally solved my own problem in this little
This
podcast.
is like a therapy
I
session
don't know,
also
right?
for us. Um, we trust that everything happens in divine timing. And
Yeah.
we trust that some, you know, a very powerful, beautiful, loving, kind presence is always there to protect us. And we don't we kind of, we see like a limited vision, right? In
Hmm.
our
I think it's in
in
like a
our
tunnel vision,
reality.
right? Wouldn't you think so?
Yeah.
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 Because
So
you're
it's only it's just so much, right?
yeah,
That we see.
because you're only focused on like yourself at one point,
Yeah.
but then it's like you don't really look at like
The
the big
bigger
thing. Yeah, the
picture
bigger picture.
and how things are interconnected and how things impact each other
Mhm.
and how something that may seem like a negative moment right now
Mhm.
is self-serving for you in your future,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But speaking about like some of the things you talked about in your injury, like you mentioned like you didn't think you were feeling depressed or you didn't think you were feeling a certain way, but yet your body connected. Like sometimes our body connects our mental state, emotional state, and physical state, and we don't realize it. Like I feel like we tend to kind of separate, right? My
Mhm.
mind is this, my heart is this, my body is this. But really,
Coherence. Coherence.
yeah. It's all connected.
Yeah.
And often, like a part of my healing journey for my physical injury in my back
Mhm.
was actually releasing a lot of emotions, was actually overcoming a lot of mental blocks,
Oh.
right? So doing a lot of kinds of therapy. I mean, I've did like physical therapy, acupuncture, all kinds of massages, like different techniques, right, to release the pain. But every time I was physically worked on to heal that pain,
Mhm.
I also was having so many emotions and feelings come up to the surface that I had to integrate, journal,
Whoa.
mentally walk through with another therapist who's like a talk therapy. It's like a holistic process. So just remembering that sometimes when we're facing like a certain aspect,
Mhm.
not to just focus on that part.
Mhm.
Like me, I was just focusing on the physical,
Mhm.
but I
Me too.
learned to
Like,
focus on
yeah.
the overall holistic
Yeah.
picture.
I didn't understand that
Hmm.
because it's just like I think that year going back to it, like that year specifically was just like me getting stronger and surrounding myself with people who are great people in the athlete world, and I'm very thankful for that happened, but like never understood the concept of like the coherence and like understanding your emotion versus thinking versus like have you taken the Myers-Briggs test?
No.
You haven't taken that? Next time. We'll
Okay.
we'll come back to it. But there's this thing where like you understand what your personality is.
Okay.
And then at the same time it's like I'm an INTJ for everyone that knows what the Myers-Briggs is. But what I've also learned is that when like thinking and analyzing like situations, it's from what I understood, it's better to think with your mind than with your emotion. Lish.
Why?
Because thinking emotionally when you're in the moment, you make the wrong decision because you could be angry.
Hmm.
You could be like in a crying hysterically, like you could freeze. instead of like take a breath and like
Yeah.
to calm down with it.
Because the nature of emotions is like emotions are a temporary state,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So like that's why we grew up learning like do not respond when you're angry, for example.
Yeah.
Do not respond until wait until you're calm
Hmm.
before you are responding,
But it's hard because like
right?
people don't get that.
And they
Like,
respond and react
yeah,
immediately in that moment. And then what ends up happening? Consequences,
consequences,
right?
right?
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. Like I was angry." I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
هدي حالك, dude."
Yeah, calm down.
Yeah.
But once you do it, like once we've done that a few times, we're supposed to learn. Like, okay, I'm gonna take a moment
Right.
to like calm, clarify my thoughts before I respond. Especially with like the people who are close to you, who love you and you care about.
Yeah.
Sometimes we tend to kind of be more comfy to have that snappy moment
Mhm.
because we know they love us no matter what,
Mhm. Right.
right? But it's even more important to be sensitive to taking care of those people. Again,
Who
the
are
divine
closest to
put in
you.
your life for
Yeah.
many reasons,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
they're such a blessing.
Yeah. And so like that part when going back to it where I was like my all-time high was like the physical and the emotional part, right? Like we were just so focused into one where like you thought about your pain and I was thinking about my elbow, but it's just like when that thought of like understanding the concept of like the the whole mindfulness like you haven't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? Have you watched it?
I don't think
No, there's
so.
this part in the Avatar where like he's reaching like he's all through his chakras
Okay.
and then like he reached the final one, which is like I wouldn't say the divine, but it's just like the ultimate like avatar state. And it's just like him in the cosmos. Where it's just like him is like this is the final state to reach, and this is like where you want to go. And he was
Mhm.
like training with a Buddha, which is really cool. And I thought like to me like Buddhists are people to learn a lot. You could learn a lot from them too,
Yeah.
because they're the one. I feel like they're the ones that practice like the mindfulness,
Hmm.
where everyone else like they say the name like yeah like for example me being Muslim, the concept of Islam has that mindfulness aspect of it, but like not many people practice it like
Yes.
thoroughly because we're on our day to day life, you know. But like for example, the monks and the Buddhists, they're like up in temples where that's
Mhm.
all you focus on,
Mhm.
you know, and it's just like I don't know, it's just something to learn from everything, which is like probably the secrets of the divine. It could
Mhm.
be I don't know. Did they talk about like monks and Buddhists in there?
There's a lot of references to that,
Mm.
but I think when I hear what you're saying, I think about the importance of finding a balance.
Mm-hmm.
Like even one of the things that at the end of the Buddha's life,
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest lessons that were learned, and
Mm-hmm.
he was teaching, was finding balance
Oh man.
because he went through detachment from all materialism and worldly things. He went
Yes.
through asceticism. I think that's the word, asceticism, right?
I
Where
have
he's
no
completely
idea.
detaching and living among monks
Yeah.
in nature,
Like I
isolated from like everybody.
uh-huh.
He went through like the extreme fasting where he is not eating or drinking and putting himself in a cave for days and days and days and days,
Wow.
right? And in the end, the biggest learning
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
we don't need to be extreme on any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But what he found better and taught is to find balance. Find the balance,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to starve,
Mm-hmm.
but find moderation. Like you said, don't find food,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe not all of us have the opportunity to go and be like a monk in the mountain, which is a beautiful, gorgeous way to live. Like some people are, that's what their soul is drawn to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we need that. We
Mm-hmm.
need people to have to do different things, right?
So we can learn from their experience and then like
Yes.
incorporate into our daily lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
put like elements of each one
Mm-hmm.
and find that
Mm-hmm.
balance. I read something, I think I heard it in Secrets of the Divine, and it said,
I gotta read this book, man.
it's
Are are
beautiful.
you
I
kidding
want to
me?
thank Helwa. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. She is so beautiful in her heart.
That's crazy.
The way she said, she described something. She said, I think this is my understanding, okay?
Yeah.
Um, Describing collective consciousness.
Okay.
Imagine the divine had a mirror in his, I mean, obviously we can't
So yeah,
describe the divine physically,
yeah,
but imagine the divine has a mirror.
yeah.
And that mirror fell and shattered into a million pieces. Okay?
I'm liking where this analogy is going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's just say each human received like a piece
Uh-huh.
of that mirror,
Right.
right?
Okay.
That's the analogy of the collective consciousness.
Whoa. That's a great analogy. Wow.
So essentially, we're always interconnected. We're always, sometimes we forget the power of
Now.
now and connecting with each other now,
Yeah.
right? And being together and the importance of that.
Mhm.
Because like I'm a piece of the puzzle, but I need you to
Mhm.
see what that puzzle shows.
So we can put the mirror back together. Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
But that's why when you say things like a lot of people are experiencing this, a lot of people are experiencing that within the same similar time frame,
Mhm.
right? That has to do with our collective consciousness and the energy we're going through as a collective, we're experiencing together.
Which ties it to talking about, remember we were talking about in the car, the wants and needs,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
We're talking about some people are gifted
Mhm.
to and are privileged in this life to like have uh great to like have a lot of needs instead of wants, you know? And some people like only can afford what they need, you know? Um and what's crazy is that like you said there was like an article or there's like a
Mhm.
study.
Yes.
Yes, tell me about that study.
Okay, I heard about this study on a podcast, a brilliant podcast that I listen to and I love very much. Um, the the host was explaining that money is not an indication of happiness. A lot of people think, I want to be a millionaire, I want to have a lot of money. That's how I'm going to be happy. That's how I'll have peace and joy.
Mhm.
Realistically, the study assessed like how much people's wealth was and correlate it with levels of happiness, joy, peacefulness,
So they
right?
took like yearly incomes.
Like yearly
Yeah.
incomes, household, individual, and
Mhm.
assess those levels.
Mhm.
And then what they're finding is actually the group of the happiest people were not necessarily the
Millionaires.
millionaires or
Yeah.
the wealthier individuals. Not to say that that's not a blessing.
Mhm.
Of course, hard work is beautiful and building generational wealth for your family and to do good charity for others,
Mhm.
that's a beautiful thing,
It is a
right? And a
beautiful
lot of
thing.
people are blessed with that.
Yeah.
But just
It's
when
not
we,
a bad thing.
it's no,
It's not a bad. We're not
no.
saying that. Yeah.
Money is a blessing.
Yeah.
Being it's a huge blessing, right?
Yeah.
And a gift.
Gift from
Um,
God.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. But happiness, money didn't. More money didn't correlate with more happiness necessarily.
Mhm.
Like the average person or the average household, right, having like $100,000 to $200,000 were had very high indicators of like happiness
Mhm.
and
There
health and
yeah.
peacefulness and feeling like they didn't need, like they had more satisfaction,
Mhm.
right, with their family, professionally. But the point of this is like,
There's a cushion of like what was mentioned is that there's a you have everything you need, but there's
mhm,
a cushion of things that you can want, that you can
yes,
purchase that
yeah,
is not necessarily like extravagant, but it's like, like you spoil yourself in a way.
yeah,
And so we also talked about like this man has all the money in the world,
yes,
but health we also talked about is like the most important thing that to have, which is wealthier than all the money in the world.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't really talk about my background a lot. I'm honestly like this whole event is more out of my element.
Yeah, which
However,
is okay. That's you don't have
I
to.
yeah, but I'm loving it because honestly, it's you who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do work in the financial industry. I'm a performance coach, and what I notice is a lot. I see people's finances, right? Of course,
Mhm.
it's all anonymous and confidential,
Right, of course.
but I do meet a lot of individuals who
Mhm.
are very wealthy, very blessed.
Mhm.
Really rich on paper,
Mhm.
right? They're good. But when I speak to them personally, they're not happy.
Mhm.
They're sad, they're depressed, they're stressed, they're dealing with a lot of big issues.
Mhm.
Um, but also some of the wealthiest individuals that I've met have a lot of health issues and concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned from this experience is that your biggest asset is health, and thank God for our health.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest blessing and gift of all time,
Yeah.
because no amount of money is going to buy you your health.
Yeah.
No
That's
amount of money.
no, because like there could be a lot of like what's the word? I'm not cure, but like something that stabilizes your illness that
Mhm.
can prolong your life,
Mhm.
but not necessarily you can be cured, which is
Yeah.
really sad, And health is a very important thing. And so the one thing that I said is like people are gifted to to give,
Mhm.
and then people on this world like have a need. What did I say?
You said
Like people uh
some
give to
people
the need.
need,
Yeah, some people
some people need,
and some people need to
and some
give.
people need to give.
Yes. Some people
Yes.
need and some people need to give.
Yes.
Which ties us
Yeah.
to the very last thing actually that we want to talk about is the fundraiser.
Yeah.
So tell us about the fundraiser.
Oh, okay. So we are having a fundraiser, and basically I'll tell you the background
Yeah,
story.
go for it.
I'm speaking this on behalf of my beautiful angel sister, okay?
Hey sister.
Hey sister. So my sister Carmel is just an angelic human being. Like, she's someone who's always looking to do something for others every single day, every single day. She inspires me to be better in terms of giving and
She
sharing.
has a beautiful heart.
She does.
Yeah, I love her
She
so
really
much.
does.
Yeah.
And one of her trips to Jordan a few years ago, she met this wonderful man. And maybe one day we'll introduce him. But this man is so humble, so down to earth, so just genuine and heartfelt. And what he's doing is living his life to help others. He wakes up from the sunrise to sunset, running around all over towns in Jordan, and he finds ways to help others: children in hospitals, children in refugee camps, helping families in need. And that's what he does 100% of his time. And he
Wow.
is a
Wow.
beautiful, beautiful,
He's a giving man.
yes, very
Yeah.
selfless, right?
That's the word.
One of the things he started is called the School of Dreams. And the School of Dreams is actually a very interesting story because it's a group of families who are refugees from different places.
Mhm.
It's just not to be too specific, but they've been granted permission to live on this farm from a very generous man. And he said, "You know what? Live here. I know you don't have a home, but you can help me with some of the farming tasks." And they built a small school on the farm. It's a very humble, simple school.
Yeah.
The group of kids is anywhere between like 20 to 30 kids. And
That's a lot of
basically, it
kids.
is. And they're from anything from like 3 years to like now they're growing up because they've been there
Wow.
for a few years living on this farm
Yeah.
and attending the little school.
Mm.
Um, and they have like a volunteer teacher who also gets paid from charitable donations that volunteers her time to teach them how to read and how to
That's
spell. Eh,
amazing.
and they're just the most beautiful kids, and they're refugees, war refugees who
Eh.
lost their homes and everything their family belongs. And so every year we begin a fundraising process where anyone who wants to help and contribute, and maybe next time we'll show some pictures because these kids will melt your heart.
Yeah. So she started during Ramadan every year, right?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
called the School of Dreams,
Yeah.
Madras al-Ahlam. And the wonderful, wonderful man leading this whole effort and project, God bless him, his name is Mahmoud Sadaqa.
Mm. Mahmoud Sadaqa
And it's like he was born
to
to
give.
give. Like, that's his name.
His last name, like, so Sadaqa means like to give.
Giving.
Yeah, giving. Which is wow, what a name.
Yeah. Nothing is a coincidence, only a synchronicity.
Stop it. Stop it right now. That's amazing. So links for the fundraiser will be below. Also, the Instagram handle for the fundraiser will be below as well. In terms of this podcast, thank you guys for joining so much. This is the Legends Pod with me and Rosie, a beautiful, beautiful co-host. And yeah, so other channels will be linked in the bottom as well. And we hope you enjoyed this podcast. I mean, this is like a very first podcast, but like we had like a list of things we want to talk about. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be in the comments below if you guys want to hang out, and we appreciate you guys. Hey, what's up, guys? We just reviewed our podcast and we just wanted to say if you guys watched all the way through, thank you so much. And please make sure to subscribe and just share with your friends. This is our very first podcast, so we're just sending a personal message to you guys after the full hour podcast, of course. But yeah, we appreciate you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next podcast video.
Thank you.
Bye.